Alright guys, welcome back to another video. So we'll continue what we have been doing, right? Just to give a quick recap, we were seeing application controls. What is application controls? Any activity which ensures the application is working fine. That is, fine means what? Accuracy, completeness, authentication, everything is done properly. Then we call that as an application control, right? We saw different types of application control. The first one is boundary control. To access, it prevents, boundary controls prevent unauthorized users from coming into itself. Then later we saw what is a input control. When you are trying to input, if you are trying to input what is the incorrect data, incomplete data, it will try to prevent or it will ensure that you enter the right data, right? Reasonable acceptance. Anyhow, this is input control. Then third one we saw, what is it? Let us say one is communicating to the other. Right, when there is a communication between two applications, or when there is communication between the application and database, or there is communication between two nodes, right, the communication is done properly. The controls are implemented to ensure the communication is done properly. Done. Now the fourth one we are going to see is processing controls. Fourth one we are going to see is processing controls. So prevent someone enter, make sure entry is correct. Once entry is done, processing has to happen, no? Yes or no? Ensure the processing is correct. Ensure processing is correct. That is what is processing control in simple terms. Okay. The processing subsystem is responsible for computing, sorting, classifying and summarizing of data. The major component or central processor. Central processor means CPU, in which the programs are executed. The real and virtual memory operating system that manages the system resources, and the application program that execute the instructions to achieve the specific requirements. Basically what they are saying is CPU, OS, application system, your memory, that is RAM and virtual memory, all together will play around together to support you to run a application. That is what they are. So that why you run a application? To achieve your requirement, correct? Your user requirement. That is what they are trying to say here. Are we clear? Done. Sir, what are the controls? The first control is processor control. First control is processor control. Okay, under processor control there are subdivisions. That is what we are going to see. Then we are going to see RAM, real memory control, virtual memory control, and software control as such, and the audit trail control. So what we are going to see. That is the overview of processing controls. Now we'll see the processor control. What are the processor controls? What are the irregularities or errors we will face with? Done. The first, error detection and correction. Error detection and correction control. That is the first one. Now, see guys, I told you what is CPU or processing, guys. House, computer is the house, you are the person, correct? Can you make errors? Right? CPU also can make errors. Okay, don't think CPU will always be perfect. Sometimes when you're opening a file, you double click, you are aware of it, you double click, but it did not open. Right? So, let us see. Processor might malfunction because of design error, or manufacturing defect, or fatigue, or damage, or electromagnetic interference. You take a magnet near your CPU will get confused. Okay, do that. Yes, if you're okay with your CPU going away, right? So fatigue, CPU can get tired. Yes or no? Or damage, some damage is there, or the way the CPU is made, some design fault is there. The way the CPU is made, there is some design fault, right? Or some radiation. All can cause errors. All can cause errors. Sir, but there are three types of errors which can happen. There are three types of error which can happen. One is transient error, intermediate error, and permanent error. Three errors. Okay, we'll see transient error. Transient errors that disappear after a short period. It is just one quick error. It comes. Okay, it is not a permanent error. It is just, okay. When you double click, it did not open. After you double click, it opened. That's a transient error. the error disappears after a short period of time, or for 1 minute the system is getting hung. Right? System is getting hung. After that, it's getting all right. That we call it as transient error. Okay. Controls should be there to prevent these things, or if it happens also, the controls have to be there to detect it and correct it. That is what they're trying to say here. Clear? Then intermediate error. Errors which recover periodically. Occur periodically. There can be something, no? Every half an hour, there some system might give you a problem. Right? I had an old system. Every half an hour, whatever application I had, no, it will close down. I don't know why. There was an error. Errors which occur periodically, we call it as intermediate error. Permanent error does not correct with time at all. These are permanent. CPU time which means it's a permanent error only, no? Yes or no? So we call it as permanent error. Permanent error. Any questions still here? These are all errors. Okay. What they are saying is, I have control for these errors. They are not talking about what are the controls you can have. That is technical aspects of it. But they are saying these are the possibilities of errors. Know these as an auditor or as an organization. You should know these are. That is why they're error detection and correction. They are not talking about anything which are controls oriented. They are saying these are all errors, type of errors. Okay. For transient and intermediate error, retries and reacquisition might be successful. For these two, that is short-term errors as well as which occur periodically. If you retry the system, it might work. But for permanent errors, the processor gets halted. Halted means it gets stopped. Okay, done. That is one thing. Now, second type of things which you need to be aware of. Multiple execution states. We'll take an example for this for you to understand. Otherwise, you will not get it. Can everyone see it? Done. Now, if you see here, these are all execution. Some program is getting executed. We call it as, now, is it only one thing is getting executed or many things are getting executed? Many things, multiple execution states are there. Now, imagine by seeing this, what program is running, can you understand? Right? You can see this, oh, okay, Zoom is running. Can you see this? And find out, right? In an organization also, you should have a control to see all these things. What is running in your computer? Okay, just for you to relate, if you're going to cafe, this cyber cafe and all is there, no? You can control shift and escape, get the taskbar. See what are the things which are running behind, right? There can be possibility that there will be something called key logger. Key logger means whatever you're typing, no, it will log. It will create a log file. So let's say you use your Facebook account or your Gmail account. You will enter your password. You will enter your email ID. It can log everything. After you go, he can, see it. He can see and find out what is your username and password. Are we clear? So these things, don't you think an organization should also have controls? What is running behind the system? Now you understanding? That is what it is. Are we clear? Now we'll read it and then try to understand. Now, it's important to determine the number of and nature of execution state enforced by the processor. What is the nature of the program? What is the number of programs? This helps the auditor to determine which user processes which will be able to carry out the unauthorized activities. What is carrying out unauthorized activities? Such as gaining to sensitive data maintained in the memory region assigned to the operating system or any other processor. What they are saying is, it will help you to identify which programs are running which is unauthorized, which is gaining to your memory. Your data is all in the memory, right? So anything which is running behind to gain memory, find it out. That is what they are trying to say. Are we clear? Done. Third one. Timing control. Third one is timing. Timing control. What is this timing control? Now, let's say your CPU is processing too many things. It gets stuck. It gets stuck. Now, there should be, imagine it's getting stuck. It's just, is it good? No. What they are trying to say is, have a control if a certain thing gets stuck for a period of time, some time. Define the time. Let's say after 1 minute of trying a program, if it's not, you're not able to execute it or you're getting stuck. There should be a time control. That is, within this 1 minute, it's not able to close all the program, kill the program. Don't keep on running the program. If you keep on running the program, what happens? You will get stuck for permanent. You know the error pop-ups, error something, after 1 minute error pop-ups, no? That is by timing control only. Otherwise, if you let the system loose, no, it'll keep on trying. It'll keep on trying. So, an operating system might get stuck in infinite loop in absence of any control. In absence of any control. The program will use the processor and prevent other programs from undertaking the work. So one program you try, it is getting stuck. Close that program. Computer should have controls to close so that you can use the other programs at least, no? Yes or no? So this is what they are saying about timing control. The last one, right? Last one is component replication. Component replication. Listen very carefully. Component replication. Now this is your CPU, or let's take it octa-core. Octa-core, you know what is octa means? 8, right? There are 8 sub-processors. Okay, there are 8 sub-processors. Okay, this is how simple, for your simple understanding, just understand. There are 8 departments. 8 departments. Before there was only one department. Okay, this is called CPU. It was much more stronger and powerful, right? Now they are divided into 8 processors. Now 8 processors work, right? They have their own work. Imagine one processor gets damaged. One of the processor out of the 8, something gets damaged. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Now there should be a control such that the operating system CPU should understand that it should not send it to this processor. It should use the other processor and make the computer work. Make the computer work rather than going to the broken department and saying, sir, error, it's not working. Are we understanding it? So this is the advantage of 8-core processors. Or the more the processor, something gets stuck or something gets busy, something gets damaged, there are other things which you can use. Imagine here in this case only one processor, very powerful processor. Yes, more people are there in this department. Let's say here evenly it's distributed, 2 people in each department. Here more than 5 people are in this department. But something happens to this processor Goinda. But here you can move around to the other processors. That is called as component replication. Let's read it. In some cases, processor failure can result in significant losses. The redundant processors allow the errors to be detected and corrected. Redundant means the things which are not used. Not every time all the 8 processors is going to be used. Correct? One processor is going to be used or 3-4 processors might be used. It depends upon your usage. Right? If the processor fails, is permanent. If the processor fails, permanent in multi-computer or multi-processor architecture, right? The system might reconfigure itself to isolate the failed processor. Isolate the failed processor means, okay, you keep alone, we will all work. We will all work. This is what component replication means. Clear? Yes. Any doubts? Please ask in any of these things.
Heat temperature is very high. One got stopped for 1 hour like a timing. Is it comes?
No. That's a different problem. That's a different control. Okay.
So, does the component replication affect the speed of the work?
Yes. Component replication may affect. Okay. It depends upon how many programs you are running. let us, for example, let me take in simplicity work, right? Simplicity, right? 8 programs, one program for one processor. Okay, it's not like that, but simplicity, one program, one processor. Then you will be able to run efficiently 8 programs, 8 departments will take care, right? Then imagine if it's one of the processors gets damaged, then the 7 programs will manage the, 7 processors will manage the 8 programs. It will run, but slightly slower. If you're running only 6 programs, right, would it, your speed will be affected, do you think? Because you are running only 6 programs, only 6 processes are going to be used, right? So it depends upon the number of programs you are running, right? So it will slow down if you are running more programs. Good question. And try after sometimes means?
The gap will be closed. Try after some time. Display by stays.
Mm-hmm. No, these all work together, Kanna. Right? This also works together. Time control is just giving you a time period within the time. So see, error happens means it will come under this only. Any error which happens because of a processor. See, please understand your question, right? You are giving a very general statement. Some app I opened, it got blocked, right? It can be because of various reasons. It can be because of processor. It can be because of real memory. It can be problem of the app itself, right? We do not know what is the problem, where is the problem is, right? So I can't give a very definite answer on that. It depends upon what the problem is. If the problem is because of CPU, then this is it. Error and deduction, there can be 3 types of error which can happen with the CPU. So let's say there is a intermediate error. There is error happened. Don't error keep on continuing. Let the error be stopped. Error has happened. Error has happened. Let the error be stopped within timely. That is timing control. Are we clear? That is the main. Don't let it be stuck for an infinite loop. The wording is it can get stuck in the infinite loop. Do not, in absence of any control, do not let that happen. Have a control too. If you know, no system, if it can detect, no, something is gone. Stop it. Kill the system or kill the program. Kill the program means stop the program. Are we clear? That is what timing control is all about. Okay. Done. Multiple execution is nothing but multiple programs which are running in your system, right? CPU. I have an idea what is running, right? In the taskbar manager, we saw an example. Understand what is running. That's all it is. Done. The real memory, right? Real memory control. What is real memory? Primary memory, right? Done. Now understand, RAM is going to transfer the instruction to CPU, correct? It is going to take the file and put it in the RAM and running on RAM, correct? Can someone come and hack what is there inside the RAM? See, you have controls to access the file. Okay, you have controls to till here, right? Till this, let's say it's in the pen drive. Let's say you have controls for here, you have controls for here. But the movement is there, no? From from pen drive it's coming to RAM, from RAM it's going to CPU, correct? Here you don't have controls means, let's say you have green area here. Can it be hacked? Yes. It can be hacked. Okay. So you should have controls for here also. That is what they are trying to say. So from here receiving to going to the CPU, make sure the controls are there. So no one can come inside and hack it there also. Okay. Done. It's like going from one place to another, right? Let's say PM is going from his house to another office, or near in that in stop gap he is going for a coffee, right? He can be attacked anywhere, no? Yes or no? Similarly here also. So be aware of it. Okay. How and all don't ask. That is a technical stuff. But understand this is possible. Okay. Now, this comprises the fixed amount of primary storage in which data program must reside. Data and program must reside. Data and program must reside in them and executed for the central processor, right? So data should come to the primary memory for it to be executed by the central processor, correct or not? That is what they are trying to say. The real memory seeks to detect and correct errors that occur in the memory cell and protect the area of the memory assigned from illegal access, so that no other program can come and access the RAM unwantedly. What is the data? Okay. Or if you want to, I'll give you another example also. Let's say a RAM is here. Okay, RAM is there. This is very important file you are running. Okay, this is important file you are running. There's another program which you are running. Both will be in the RAM. Both will be there in the RAM. Yes or no? Now, this program, can it hack and take this data, sensitive data, and go? Positive. Right? Avoid those things. Have controls to prevent these things. That is what they are trying to say. So that the memory assigned to the program from illegal access from another program. Okay, done. Virtual program. Now, same thing only, nothing special here. If you understood this real memory program, real means primary memory. Virtual is also what? You know what is virtual memory? We discussed. Now you understood why I explained virtual memory there, although the portions is not there. Right? Now, virtual memory control. Have control for virtual memory also, because it can be hacked. It can be hacked by a unauthorized, what is a program, right? That is one. Next, application and software control. Application and software control. Let us see this, what it is. Now I told you, right? Application is different, database is different. We are all aware of that, yes or no? So now let us say, and there is some processing guy also in between. Okay, there will be a processing guy also in between. Okay, now the user is asking some bank information, let's say some information. Okay, this will go correct. Application will say, get me Kumar's detail. Get me Kumar's detail. So he'll tell the processor. He'll tell the processor to get Kumar detail. Processor makes a mistake. Processor makes a mistake. So instead of understanding Kumar, it understands what to say, Kumari. Okay, Kumari. Okay, and tells the database, give me Kumari's ID. Kumari's ID. Possible, right? And it will give Kumari's ID. It will tell Kumari's ID, and processor will give the application here Kumari's ID. So can processor understand? There can be a control mechanism, right? I asked for Kumar. Why are you giving me Kumari? Can the application system understand? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Application system can understand. Hey, I asked Kumar, but I am getting Kumari. Something has gone wrong with the processing. Something has gone wrong with the processing. So I am not going to show. I have detected the error. Control should be there to detect the error and tell processor, again, can you check and get back the right data. Right data. This is one way. This is one way of controlling. Okay. Now, it fetches Kumar data. Now, second situation is it fetches Kumar data. Correct data it fetches. Kumar withdraws 5 rupees. Kumar withdraws 5 rupees. So the database system gave Kumar's ID. Kumar's ID. It gives Kumar's ID. Okay. Said that he has 100 rupees. Okay. Application system said he withdrew what? 10 rupees. He withdrew 10 rupees. And it communicated to processor. It communicated to processor. Because processor has to tell the database to update it. Correct? Make it 90 rupees. Making sense till here? Everyone. Now, processor says, yes. Hey, Kumari has withdrawn 10 rupees. Database is getting instruction from the processor now that Kumari is getting withdrew 10 rupees. Database will get confused, no? Yes or no? I sent Kumar database. You are saying Kumari's database is withdrawn. What is this? So you can have a control here also in database. Because I sent the information, that information should only get back to me, right? Yes or no? So That is what it is. That is what we call it as application software control. Application software control. Can we read through it, and then if you have further doubts, we'll see. Now, these performance validation checks to identify error during processing of data. They are required to ensure completeness and accuracy of the data being processed. Okay. Normally, the processing controls are enforced through a database management system. Right? Database. Some controls are enforced through database management system that stores the data. However, adequate control should be enforced through the front-end application system also. We saw front-end. This is the front-end, correct? Right? Front-end also should have some consistency in the control. Right? Should also have controls. This is what it is. Are we clear? Any questions? This is all high-tech there. You're thinking really simple thing. No, that's not done. Now, audit trail controls. Audit trail controls. What is this? It logs every data or events from the time the data is received from the input till it is communicated to the database, or it is communicated outside. The time I receive the data, from the time I receive the data till the time I send it. Till the time I send it. It's all under processing only, no? So I log all these events. What are the events? Let us say. You need to mug up this, right? Trace and replicate the processing performance of the data items entered in the processing. So you will know what all was processed. Can you reverse it back if everything is logged? Yes or no? If everything is processed, can you reverse it back? Yes, that is one way. Second, you can know what triggered the processing. Can you identify what triggered the processing? Yes or no? That is one. Third one, you can understand the flow. Right? Flow of data. Flow of data means how is it? So you will study this in first chapter, flow of data in detail. Right? How is the data getting processed? What is the flow of data? That also can be logged. Okay, these are the three things you need to just by heart and write it as examples if they ask. Okay, don't go into too much studying of 4 to 5 points and all. You will not understand it. This is hardcore examples. Okay, hardcore, very high-tech examples which you will not understand. Done. Now, operation logs. How much CPU was used? Right, resource consumption only, no? How much CPU was used? How long was the CPU used? Right? What all how was the secondary space used? Right? All these logs can be your operational audit logs. Right? In your summary chart, I have mentioned what are the 3 logs in each. Okay, study that. Little bit you need to mug up here. Okay, normally I don't say, but here just go and write that. Okay, remember it and go about it. That is more than enough. Now, what is the keyword for processor control? Processor control, what is the keyword? Multiple execution of errors, you will get TC. That is, as a student, you multiple execution of errors you do. Right? You will get TC. Right? In school, TC and all. Hey, I'll give you TC if you do. Right? In college, I didn't get that. So school only I got these things. Multiple execution. Here, error means error. You will get TC means what? Timing controls and component replication. So normally I give short forms, right? You can use this for if you want to have a memory job. Looks funny, but because you're remembering as a story, right? This one, it is helpful for me itself to recollect sometimes. So it should be helpful for you also. Okay, anyway, database control. Now we'll move on to 5th point in application control. Database control, right? We saw processing. Once processing is done, where it will go and store? It will go and store in database, right? Our students are now you have got an idea. Right? You got getting an idea of the flow. Yes. Once the processing is done, it will go and live with the database, right? If it's in the database, free, everything is processed. I had control still processing of data. So it's lying in the database. Can I keep it free? No, I should have controls to protect my database also, right? That is what we are going to see. So these controls are used within application software to maintain the integrity of data. Now, by now you should know what is integrity. Integrity means what? Originality, that the data is pure, no one has modified it, right? No one has modified it means unauthorized user has not modified it. Okay, done. To prevent integrity violation, when multiple programs have concurrent access to the data. Concurrent means what? Multiple guys are accessing, multiple programs are accessing the data to simultaneously, concurrent, simultaneously access the data. The way in which the data piracy can be preserved within the database. So see, now processor, right? Let's say banking instruments. There is one guy, one processor is asking, give me data, give me data, give me data. It's interacting in the database. Yes or no? Constantly it is interacting. If for asking your bank account balance, you give your password itself. The database gives the password itself. I got confused. You have so many information. Can it go and tell? No, you should have controls like that. Okay, done. What is it? What are the first controls for database? Access control. What is access control? These controls in database system seeks to prevent unauthorized access. So do not let anyone enter the database without proper access. So it can be in some password way of protection or any other way. Okay, have policies also they are saying. Okay, and enforce the policy. Right? Access controls we have seen so many places, right? What is access control? To access, prevent, have controls to access itself. So the first control to have database control is in a database is have access control. Second, integrity control. Let's read it. These are required to ensure accuracy, completeness, uniqueness of the instances used within the data, and conceptual modelings are maintained. Integrity and constraints are established to specify the type of relations and consistency among the rows in the database. Now, you can have it of two types. Let us say the first column is name, second column is phone number, third is email ID. Okay, email ID. Okay, now when you are collecting a data, right, you enter name, phone number, email ID. Name, phone number, email ID, right? You are established the relationship. First one is name, second one is phone number, third one is email ID. What if I save it like name, the second data which I save it like email ID, phone number? Is the consistency there? Is the data any more integrity is maintained of the data? No. Right? Something is wrong. Right? This is have a control to have this. Everything is correct. That is one way of looking about it. Second way of looking about it is also, let's say in name, right? Let's say the first guy gives a phone number as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, that's a valid number. You take it as, okay, just take it as a valid number. Another guy also is saying my phone number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Right? Should the system take it? It should say, no, hey, what? One guy, I already have a person who's having this email ID or phone number. You are also saying that, same phone number. It is not possible. Can you say? So you should have controls in that way. To maintain the data integrity. Otherwise, some people will give false data. No, is your database integrity maintained? No, right? But see, that is where you have to appreciate. Phone number, email ID should be unique. Name can be same, correct? Yes or no? So you can't implement the same thing for all the things. So you should know what you are implementing for where you are implementing. That is where you have to see what is the consistency in the relationship and integrity constraints. Constraints means variables which I kept. No, do not have duplication. Save your phone number only in the second column. These are all integrity constraints to maintain the data as pure and good and unique. You can call it as. Clear? Third one, application software control. Application software control. Now we studied application software control before itself. Yes or no? Whatever we saw here, this application software control, same thing is what here also, but they have added more detail. There also database control. Remember the story Kumar and Kumari? Yes or no? Same thing, database had a control, no? It did not blindly update. Hey, I send you Kumar's detail, you are coming and giving me update Kumari's detail. What is it? Something is wrong. Yes or no? That is what this is also talking about. But anyhow, let's read it. There are two types of controls, so you should know. Let's see. Now, when application software acts as an interface to interact between user and database, the database management system depends on the application software to pass across the correct sequence of command. So it depends upon the database management to give the right data, right? And update the parameters so that the appropriate actions can be taken, right? Done. When certain types of exception arises, this is when certain types of exemption arises. Done. This is achieved through update controls. There are two types of controls, update control and report control. Let us see. Update controls ensures the changes to the database reflect changes to the real world entities and association between the entities that the data in database supposed to represent. Right? There are two types of control. When you are updating the database, right, have control. That we call it as update control. Okay. Till here, whatever you studied, whatever Kumari's example for your understanding, that is what they are explaining. Now, what type of control they are trying to bring? Right? I told you, have controls, no, in the database, remember. Right? What type of controls you should have? You should have two further types of controls there. That is update control and report control. Report control. What is update control? Ensure that data is updated as relevant to the real life database. If someone, Kumar is withdrawing 90 rupees, right? From 100 rupees, he is withdrawing 90 rupees. Balance should be 10 rupees. Make sure it is updated under Kumar's account correctly. 10 rupees. That is update control. That so that it reflects the changes in the real world entity. So it is reflecting the real world entity. Report control. Report controls identify the errors and irregularities that may have occurred when the database has been updated. Also have a report control. So now the database understood Kumari's updation, right? Have a report of that also. Have a report of that also. Identify the errors and irregularities that have occurred when the database is getting updated. When it's getting updated. Or sometimes this happens very rarely, right? But it happens. Sometimes your bank account will show what to say. If it shows for you lucky, very rarely I've seen suddenly 50 lakhs is credited to someone's account. Have you heard of these stories? Yes or no? Right? Then they identify. Right? Then they identify something is wrong. How they are identifying? There are so many transactions. No, you'll go and keep on checking one. So your report control helps you to identify the irregularities and errors that may have occurred while the database is getting updated. Are we clear? Are we clear on this, everyone? Done. That has happened for you also. Huh? Done. Very good.
I got the money in January.
Then it's interest for you, da. Every year you are getting money means it's interest for you. Saving account means you will get interest only.
My account is nil, sir.
Okay, I don't know. Those who are watching, I'll show his, bank officials. Please see his face, catch him, get the money back. That's all I can say. Okay, done. Let's go back. Now, concurrency controls. Concurrency controls means, I told you, concurrent means what? Simultaneous, right? Now, two people are saying to the database, hey, update. Who should the database listen? Right? Database can get confused. So when there should be controls to make sure that the database does not get confused. Concurrent updation. Let's say you make one payment, again immediately you make another payment. Right? So database should not get confused. These are required. Some people have tried this also. I'll give you one more example, right? From net card, they are in two websites. Okay, they Flipkart, Amazon. Let's say, okay, you have 1 lakh balance. Imagine from the same time you enter all the details. 1 lakh, you are buying 1 lakh worth item. Both are clicking buy now at the same time. You're clicking both at the buy now. Now, what will happen? Are you understanding? Right? The bank should allow 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs they should give purchase. Right? There should be controls to check which one first. Amazon. Okay. 1 lakh debited. Then it should process your Flipkart order. Correct? Then it should say, hey, balance is not there. Same time I'm accessing the database for the same account. So have controls. Let's say these are required to address the situation when either due to simultaneous access to the same database or due to deadlock. Right? Deadlock means what to say? It is requesting 2 and you're getting like another lock. It's getting confused. Database gets confused. There should be a way to come out of the confuse. Right? That is what they are trying to say. Now, another type of control, that is cryptographic control. Now, you should be knowing what is cryptography by now. You have seen it. What is cryptography? Encryption, right? Now, let us see. Now, let's say the database. Now, for you, let us say ABC. Okay, the name of the person is ABC. Phone number is 123. Can you understand it? Right? You can understand it. Now, a thief also sees it. Can he understand it? But what if database is there in the database? I encrypt it inside the database itself. That is ABC. I make it as name. I make it as star dollar symbol CB. Okay, and phone number I encrypt it as A1. Hash. Like this. Now it is encrypted. Even though if he access my database, can he understand anything? No. This is another way of protecting the database. That is, these controls can be used for protecting integrity of the stored data using block encryption. Instead of, individual encryption, block, as a block they encrypt. Okay. File handling controls. Let us see. Now, someone should have access to the database or not. Database administrator will have access. Yes or no? Some genuine mistake from the back end I have to correct means I can go and correct it. No. Acceptable. Everyone is understanding. Someone should have a valid access. Okay, I enter. By mistake, coffee poured on me. Okay, from the copier. In that hotness, I press delete button. Click delete button. Database gets deleted. That's it, Right? Right? Someone said recycle bin. You have to go and check, sir. Okay, done. Now, there should be controls to prevent accident destruction of the data contained. Okay, it should not allow you to simply delete like that also. It should ask for a prompt button, or there should be a backup mechanism, right? There should be like, you cannot delete everything. Are you sure? Something like that should come. Okay, these can be exercised by hardware, software, or whoever is loading and unloading the data. Okay, done. This is what it is. Now, audit trail controls. Now, what is this? What all logs will be captured here? Let's see. Now, it occurs either to the database definition or database. Whatever happens in the database, everything will get captured. Whatever happens in the database, everything gets captured within the audit trail control. Let us see what all gets captured. Now, it gets captured, the first data, application proper acceptance, process and storage information. What is the application asked for? Right? Can I store that? Application asked for this. I gave this. This is what it is. That is one thing. Second, attachment of timestamp. That is timestamp. It asked this data at 12 o'clock. This asked this B data at 1 o'clock. Can I keep that events also? Right? Third one is before and after image. Before it was like my database was like this. After the transaction, my database looked like this. right? Can I have images of that also? Images means don't take it as a what your understanding of your image, kind of a log. Okay, that is also it is, right? These are the three things which you can have as events for audit examples, which when you're going to write your exam. Okay. Third one, whatever database would have consumed your resources to run, CPU would have consumed all those resources. They are not mentioning what resource, they are taking it as a, they are mentioning this maintains the results in a resource consumption events. Whatever resources are consumed by the database, it is maintained. Okay, they itself are keeping it very simple here. Done now. Done. Any questions here? Please ask. So there will be definition, and they will say, okay, it's allowed. They will say they should have overriding mechanism. Something they'll have. Right? The question was, sir, in education system there will be same parent, no sir, right, of the student. Siblings basically was referring to. It was a valid question again. There will be some definitions, right? You have all the brains in the world, Noda. Right? Okay, done. Now there can be the question was, sir, what if my parents are the same, right? Parents number would be the same, right? So there can be controls like you for one child you would have given your parents your dad's number. For the other child you give me your mom's number. If they ask like that, that is possible, right? That is possible. If the system does not allow, you will give some number, no? Yes or no? Sorry? I know that you will give your dad's number, grandfather's number. I know this question was coming. You guys don't even think about what that. I'll tell you, you'll have 2 SIMs da. Come on da, let's battle. Huh? You'll have 3 SIM cards. What you will do now? 4 child da, 4 SIM cards. Yo. What all questions you will have da? Huh? Done. Anyway, coming back. Database control. Okay. Database control. What's the short form? AI app handling cryptocurrency. You know cryptocurrency, it's getting famous, right? AI app is handling cryptocurrency. Okay, I guess you can match the things. A stands for access, I stands for integrity, app stands for application software control, co-currency control, crypto means crypto, right? Handling. And audit trail is always common for all the application controls. Okay, you can blindly write audit trails. Clear? So online students have written, sir, in our class super brains are there. Super brains, very good. Now, output control. Let us see. Now, function of audit system you have studied, no? What are the function? Input, processing, function of information system, right? What are the functioning of information system? Input, processing, output, storage, correct? And feedback. Okay, good, very good. Now, this all you removed. Easy topics. Now, access is blocked. Input is blocked. Processing also, control is there, correct? Now, storage, database is nothing but storage. Can I take it like that? That is also blocked. Now, communication is also there. That is also blocked. Now, what is the last one? Output. Right? Now, when I am giving output, right? Can I give sensitive data is given displayed on your screen? That is output only, no? Or you're printing a file. It goes to a printer and printing. Can someone hack it? By now you should be knowing anything and everything can be hacked, right? So when I'm printing a file, someone can come and steal the data and go. Yes. So there should be controls for output also. Are we clear? Output controls ensures that data delivered to the user is presented, formatted and delivered in a consistent and secure manner. Output can be in any form. It can be either printed data report or a database file in a removable medium. Removable medium means pen drive or your hard disk or whatever it is, right? That is what they are trying to say. Now, what are the controls? These are the controls which they are seeing. We will see one by one. inference control. What is it? First one is inference control. Let us see. These are used to prevent compromise of statistical database from which users can obtain only aggregate statistics rather than the values of the data items. These are restriction control which limit the set of responses provided to the users and try to protect the confidentiality of the data about the person in the database. Understood? That's why attend class regularly. If you miss class, how will you understand when you're reading before the exam? If like, right? Done. That's where people decide, sir, group 1 only, sir. I will go and read. Done. Now, let us see. Let me give an example. Right? ArivuPro as a database, do you agree or not, of students? Right? We collect data of students who are passed, who have failed, right? And their marks also. Right? Now, when we are collecting the data, right? When we are collecting all the data, it will be student name, roll number, what is the marks of each subjects we'll collect. Yes or no? But when we are presenting it to the public, do we present it to the public? Yes, we will tell these many students have passed from the institute. Yes or no? Do we give entire individual data? No, we give only the aggregate value. How many people passed? How many people failed? We only give the pass mostly, right? That is what happens here. That is what they are trying here. Please read it now. You will understand it. These are used to prevent the compromise the statistical database. Isn't statistical the marks collection? Facts. From which user can only obtain aggregate statistics rather than individual value of the data items. Are you understanding what I meant now? Right? Simple. Done. These restrictions ensure that you don't access unwanted data. Public should not know what A person got, B person got in detail. Right? They should know, okay, these many students only passed. Or these many students did not clear. It's aggregate value. Right? This is what it is. Clear? This protects the confidentiality of the data and the person in the database. Like someone fails, they'll be shy, to put their name. Right? But if I give the aggregate value, you will not know who failed or who passed off. Right? That is what it is. Now, second, batch output production distribution control. As a batch, you are releasing it or distributing, you should have controls. As well as if you see, it will be similar to online output and production and distribution control. Okay, we'll see this very closely. They are a little bit interconnected. Let us see it. Just giving you a warning up front itself. Now, batch output takes in the form of tables, graphs, and images. Right? Is produced at some operation facility and distributed to the users as an output. Okay, that take it as a table for your better understanding. For this, whatever we are going to discuss, take it as a table. I'm going to give a table. Now, what are the controls you can have? Let us see. Report program execution control. To ensure only authorized persons are permitted to execute the batch report program, and these events are logged and monitored. That is, let us say there is a database. I have access to the database. I am an employee of the company. Okay. I have access to the database. But don't you think there should be another control mechanism if I want to print it out? Yes or no? For example, there is important financial data. You are an accountant. Okay. I give you permission. Okay. You go and see pa. I'll show you everything. Right? Very important data. I'll show you. Right? I'll give you access. You saw. Now, when you're trying to print it out, it will prevent you. Why? I can ask, no. Why you want print out? I'm showing you, no. Important data, you need not print. So, you should have a control for that. That is what they are trying to say. So, only authorized users should be permitted to execute batch reports. Basically, only authorized guys should be able to generate reports. Batch reports means group of reports. A group of individual items should be, because when individual, at least when you give it, okay, individual data will not matter. But entire batch, if I can export it once and print it, huge data leakage, correct? So there should be controls for that. That is what they are saying. Even if they print, there should be events logged and monitored. So you will know, okay, someone has exported this, right? Someone has exported this. Why? We can ask. Are we clear? Done. Spooling file. Spooling file controls. Let us see this with an example for you, right? This will take some time. I'm printing the file, huh? See, one document in, what to say, queue, okay? There will be something called spooling, will come here. It's coming. See? It'll go very fast also. So I have to take a... You got it? See this? Spooling. Right? So spooling means it's getting ready and sending the file to the printer. Okay. And yeah, basically processing and sending it to the printer. Now it has gone. Then it'll go for printing. Okay. So in that time, someone can go and hack it. Okay, it is there. It's going in the wire. Someone can hack it. This is called as status here. Okay. Now let us see what it is in the book definition. Done. Spooling file control. Okay. So that the users can continue working while queue documents are waiting to be printed. Right. Right. Simultaneously. There's a full form is there. Simultaneously. Blah 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 blah. Okay. That's not there. Previously it was there. Now they've removed it. Good. Right. Now, simultaneously, I can work on my computer rather than it will go and do it. Still, I can use my computer. So that is what they're trying to do. Can continue to work while the queue of the document is waiting to be printed on a particular printer. To ensure that waiting file gets printed, shall not subjected to unauthorized modification. When it's waiting, someone is in the queue. Document is in the queue. Someone should not go and change the files. Okay. Then, sir, we're changing the file. You should know what is the impact and all. If someone changes the file that time, right, you will not check it that time, right? Don't you think? A lot of consequences will happen. So we have controls there. Printing control, right? Ensure the output is made to the correct printer. Made to the right printer, and unauthorized disclosure of printer information does not take place. Okay, I'll give you an example here. Right, because of my company secretary profile, I worked in a company, the secretarial role, right? So I have to work with some board directors documents and other things, right? So I would get some insider information like what is the dividend going to be issued, right? All those kind of information, right? I need to take the printout of that. So only our department had a exclusive printer, right? Exclusive printer. So there is a common printer as well as the exclusive printer. All confidential stuff, I used to use the exclusive printer to print it, right? All the normal stuff I used to go and print in the main printer, which is much more faster. But although that, it is a little bit far away from me. It is like, I need to walk some 10 meters or to get it, right? Imagine I print it, the document comes and it says dividend declared to be so and so, 2 rupees, 3 rupees. Someone sees it. Right? So this is what the impact is. So have controls for this. It looks very silly right now, right? But it's given in the wordings. When it's given, hey, give it in the correct printer. What nonsense, right? But it is a big deal when it comes to important information. Report collection controls. So to ensure the report is corrected immediately and secure to avoid unauthorized disclosure and leakage. Let's say your report, you're submitting a report, you print a report and give it, right? Make sure once the report is done, collect it. Don't just keep it in the table and walk off, right? That is what they are saying. Ensure the report is collected immediately. If auditor is asking, do you have a report? Very important data. You have a very important data. Auditor is asking, okay, you can give him. He will not see that there is professional ethics that he should not disclose, right? So you give him, but you should collect the data immediately also. as the organization. That is what they are trying to say. Check whether these things are done properly. Done. User client service review. Ensure that user should obtain higher quality output and detection of errors and irregularities. Very simple. Once your document is ready, check everything is correct before you go and give it to your client. That's all they're saying here. Right? If you give a bakwas report, let's say, you give the company's name itself wrong. By mistake, you have typed it wrong. Right? You have typed it wrong. Input error has gone wrong. Okay. So, at least I have an output control. Right? That while checking, you will understand. Hey, company name is wrong. Can I rectify it? You will change it and then print it. Print it again. That is what user client service review means. Before giving it to the client, ensure the user should obtain a higher quality output. Right? Detection of error in the output. That's all. Summa check the document. Report distribution control. Let's see. Ensuring the time gap between the generation and distribution of the report is reduced. The time gap between the generation and distribution. Once I generate the information and distribution, the time gap between these, right, is reduced. A log has to be maintained. Reports that were generated to whom these were distributed. Now, let me give an example for you. Why they are saying ensure the time lag between generation and distribution to be reduced. As I told you, let's say I will take our example of dividend policy itself, right? The board discuss inside the board meeting. Okay, they will discuss. Okay, 2 rupees is the dividend, right? Stock exchange also says within 30 minutes I have to intimate the everyone. I have to intimate the stock exchange. Once I intimate the stock exchange, that is a public information, right? Now, the 30 minutes, right, from the decision which the board takes, right, should be, it should at least take 30 minutes to type properly and upload, no? That is why they are giving 30 minutes. So, if they give 1 day, 2 days, then there is a possibility of unauthorized people getting the data, information. So, if you reduce the time lag from generation, right, and distribution, at least you can control some things. That is what they are saying. That is one point they are saying. Second, they are saying is, let's say you're distributing certain information. You're giving to certain people, certain important documents. Keep a log of who are you are giving. See, computer can only be computer inside the computer. Once it is outside in a printed format, right, you're giving it. Right? You should keep a log of who's you're giving it. You can't ask the computer to maintain it. Right? That is what they are trying to say. Keep a log. Even if you send it a mail, have a log that you have, you have sent it on a mail. Okay? That is what they are saying. User output control. Right? User output control to be in place. Ensure the user reviews the output on a timely basis. So, right, now you have got an output. Review it within some time. Don't wait, I'll review it later on. Right, I'll take my own time to review. Do it in a timely basis because output needs to be given to someone else. If you delay the information also, then delay in decision making. Delay in decision making means loss for the business. That is what they're trying to say. Then, storage control. To ensure proper pervasance of the output in an idle environment, secured storage of output, appropriate inventory controls over the stored output. Simply what they are saying, when you are storing this data in a printed format or output, store it properly. So that it is not, no one can take it. Okay, you print a document, you keep it. Okay, printed a document and keep it. Keep it in a locker if it's important doc. Minutes of the meeting, have you heard of it? Right? Every company will have minutes of the meeting. Board of directors will discuss. Right? That will be documented. Right? Can it be kept openly? You have to store it properly. Second, retention and destruction controls. If you are having an output, a document, right, make sure how much time you are going to retain it for. How many months or how many time you are going to retain these documents. Have a policy, have a control. I'm going to retain this information for 3 years, 4 years, right? And how are you going to destroy it? Destruction control, right? So you're going to tear it just like 4 pieces and throw it in the garbage. Then what happens? Someone from the garbage can take, no? See, if you're working on a very important patent, medicine, medicine, you have found cure for cancer. Okay, you have documented it, right? You have documented it, right? Then you tear it and put it in dustbin. What will happen? It'll be dustbin. Someone can take it, right? Guys, I'm telling you, certain US companies do this, right? Competitors, to understand what is the competition, they'll search the garbage of the other competitors, right? Because gold is found in the garbage, they say, right? Vital informations, because you will be careless, correct? Huh? So you should have what controls? What are the controls you can have? Yes, you have to destroy them properly. For example, shredder, right? You have shredders, you have ever seen? You put that paper, right? Why? Because of these things. When the shredding happens, you can't assemble it again. Or delete the file, properly delete the file from the computer, right? Don't, if you delete the file and keep it, it's there in the recycle bin, right? Imagine someone can restore the information, no? Right? So delete it properly, right? That is what retention and destruction control. In terms of deciding the time duration for which the output should be retained and then should be destroyed. These are all batch, output, and production. So it is more of a physical output. This one is more of a physical output. They are not talking about online reports. It's not virtual reports that they are talking about. Here we will be seeing online reports. Whatever we saw, no, physically we saw batch reports there. Here we will be seeing online reports. Okay, done. I'll just finish this only, third point, and then I'll open up for questions, right? Batch report design controls. Batch report design features should comply with the control procedures laid down during the output. The information incorporated in as well designed batch report shall facilitate the flow of output and execution of controls. Right? When you're printing, have a how do you make a batch? Right? There should be a design for the batch, right? Or how the documents are prepared, right? There should be a flow, right? This is how the batch report will come, right? In during that design, make a flawless design. If there's a flaw in the design, how the batch report is generated, then unwanted details will be created, or it will not be useful for the management with the report, right? So while creating a batch report, have design it properly. Design the control, the way it is coming out, way the information is being taken and represented. Have controls. That is what they are trying to say. Yes. Any questions in this? Please ask. So that's illegal, right? That would be illegal, right? Taking companies insider work. Hacking itself is illegal only, da. So what to do? All you proof. Yeah, pass, Ami. Why da? Sir, all these are not printed in the notes. It's not there in the notes? Oh, it's not arranged points. Okay, yeah. It's there in the paragraph. Okay, I've changed it into points. Okay, it's there. It is there in a paragraph. You see a difference between the paragraph and the points? This is easy, yeah. That's what. It's given to you and I'll be like, it's paragraph. This itself is tough. Go and read the size statement, then you'll understand. Done. Got it? Any questions fundamentally? Batch report design. Nothing. The batch report design is, see, you will be designing how to create the batch. You'll be designing how, there will be a mechanism how you create the batch. You'll design, this is how my batch report should come. Top of the name should be, sales report should come here, right? Total should come here, right? There should be a design for it, right? Have a proper design, have controls in such a way that leakage does not happen. That is what batch report design control means. So the batch report design means design of the batch itself, right? Should be comply with the control procedure. Don't simply make it as such. Have some control procedure how it is created. So facilitate the flow of output and execution of control. That is what they say. Okay, done. Online. Now we'll go to, till now we were seeing offline batch output and distribution. Now we are seeing online, virtually how the data is going to be transferred output. Okay, So batch is more of what is it, physically how the printout is coming and you're going and circulating it, right? Here online output means how the what is it, data from the database is getting viewed or going to be distributed to the other people. It deals with the control to be considered various phases like controlling at sourcing, distributing, communicating, receiving, viewing, retaining, and destruction of output. Let us see first one. Source control. Source control ensures that output which can be generated, accessed online is authorized and complete and timely. Right? So if you want a view, have controls. Only authorized guys can view it, and when you're viewing it, it should be complete and it should be timely. Timely means what? If I ask now, if I am authorized guy, if I ask now, you should give it immediately. Or it should not be like I'll take for 48 hours to give the report itself. Okay, that is what source control means. Distribution control, to prevent unauthorized copying of online output when it's distributed to the terminal. Right, when you're getting, let's say I am sending a document, right, certain things, it'll ask for a password, or it can only view access in Google Drive. When you give your friend some document, you want to give only view access, correct? You will not give download access, correct? Because he should not download and keep it. Some important file. Okay. So prevent the unauthorized user from copying the online output when it is distributed. Or let's take our example itself. I am putting it online, our video content. It's online only, no? If I have a control to distribution control I have. No one can copy my data. No one can download my videos. It's impossible. Are we understanding? That is the control. Done. Communication control. What is communication control? To reduce exposure from attacks during transmission. Now, I am communicating one device to another. Right? So, reduce the communication. While transmitting, have controls. That is what it is. This is a part of communication, whatever we saw, no? That all those things will be coming here also. Okay, done. Recept control. What is recept control? To evaluate the output should be accepted or rejected. You are getting a request. You are getting a data, right? Will come, no? Should I accept the file or reject the file? Should I receive the file or should I not receive the file? Yes or no? You will say accept if you know where the data is coming. Otherwise, if it's outsider, you will reject. Have controls. Because someone is sending information, it should not load. Imagine he sends a virus to you. It should download and keep and run. Huh? You should have the receipt control. Right? Done. Review control. To ensure timely action of the intended recipient on the output. Right? Now, to ensure the timely action of the intended recipient. Now, you have received it. Right? Review it before sending it to him. Okay? That is review control. Review it within some time. Someone is sending you some information. Review within the time. If he sends it today, you will review it after 3-4 days. That is not a good thing, right? Review it fast and reply it. That is one thing they are saying here. Disposition control. What is disposition control? To educate employees that the action, employees the action that can be taken on online output they receive. So educate the employees. This is called as disposition control. What can happen when you get a unknown or unauthorized data from online? Right, when you go to a computer, someone sends a mail. Right, someone sends a mail. You download the feature and start using it. If you educate, he will not do that. Right, that is one thing. I'll just give you an example also. I get mails, right, naming my director. Right, once upon a time, right, 2 years back, I got mails naming my director. Hey, Christopher, I need money urgently. Can you transfer it immediately on this account? Right? It will be the name of the director properly. But if you go and check the email ID, it will be different. It will be my name of the director at some XYZ email ID at .com. Something like that. But it will be looking very official. Right? Some people might see that and transfer also. So you have to educate the employee. Hey, someone, because you can't go and say, boss, you only ask, no, boss. Right? Retention control. Retention control. To evaluate how long output should be retain. This you know, right? If you get how long you should have a output retain. Deletion means once it is, how do you delete it? Now, what's the difference between this and this? Again, I'll tell you, batch control are physical documents or batch wise documents, which are images, tables, and graphs. Here, online means they are talking about online data. Okay, that is what they are trying to say. Now, audit trail controls. What are the audit trails controls for output? Now, audit trail maintains a chronological event from the time the content is output of the output is determined until the time the user completes the disposal. The time, okay, I decide this is the output I want. This is the from the time I decide I want this output till the time I dispose the output. Till the time I dispose the output, all the things should be logged. All the events should be logged, right? It includes what are the outputs being given, who was the owner of this output, right? Where all the output went, all those logs. Keep it, maintain those logs, right? While creating these logs, what are the resource consumption happened, right? What were the resources used? Keep a log of that, right? I'll give you in my summary chart, I'll give you a proper notes of this, right? Study that alone and go and write the exam as you should, right? Now, we are done with application control. Now, what is the short form? Short form is Bob inference distribution. Bob, you know, Bob is a meme character in social media, right? Bob the Builder, huh? Be like Bob. I have not seen the memes, right? So Bob inference distribution, that is the thing. Are we clear? Any questions? Sir, does the employee ID for accessing and printing data is also output control? Yes, that will fall under what is a report. It can fall under report execution control if it needed to give you the printing rights. Someone in the online asks, sir, ID is required. Yes. Sometimes you have to go and show in certain organization, sir, I am an employee, can you get a printout? Right? For example, your colleges, right? Teachers get the free printout. Yes or no? Teachers do get a free printout of whatever documents they are printing, right? How they show? They show, I'm a teacher, can you print it out? Right? Sure. That's it for this video, guys.